the time, your gateway to the world. AFR! American Freedom Radio. Give it to them.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Okay, we are now live. Hopefully it is June 8th, 2013, and I'm looking for some confirmation that we are now back up and running.
We are,
Christie. Well,
good job, good timing.
Glad you're here. Well, I'd like to say hello to the audience tonight. I lost my voice last week, so I wasn't able to do the show. I'm also 13 days off cigarettes, so I think that that's been affecting things in my voice as well. But tonight we have Christie from Soul's Journey Radio, which is heard right here on American Freedom Radio. And I started to look at some of Christie's material and her YouTube channel. And Christie, I really like your work. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much. I'm super happy to be here tonight. So, yeah, woohoo. Welcome back. I'm glad you're feeling better.
And that was Soul Journeys, and your website is souljourneysradio.com, correct?
That's right.
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know there's some listeners that may already be listening to you, but I'm curious where your journey began and how you got involved in doing shows on American Freedom Radio. And I think I've seen your name before in the past on some other websites. I don't know if you were with WTPRN at the time, but I think you've been around a little bit. So where does your story begin?
Oh, my goodness. This is a long one. This might turn us into a 4-month show, but I'll try to give the Cliff Notes version. I was brought up, in just regular suburbia USA, like everyone else, totally programmed by the Matrix. I was taught to basically just do what I was told, and, women are to be seen and not heard. Don't ask questions, or, you will suffer the punishment. My dad was Navy, SEAL, and Black Ops, and, very kind of rigid household. And my mom, the typical, complacent type, sit on the couch, eat your bonbons, take your drugs. So I actually kind of had an interesting, I really feel like I've just been kind of falling into myself, I guess, in the last 6 years, because the 35 previous years, I guess, due to my programming and not knowing any better, I was always in and out of the hospital, starting from childhood, all the way up till I was in a wheelchair, disabled and paralyzed from the waist down, with my children feeding and clothing me, bouts of cancer, diabetes, lupus, and all the fun stuff that I got to I guess in a nutshell, after so many years of being sick and realizing that all these doctors and all these drugs and everything I was doing was not helping. I would have been safer taking the street drugs, and just started looking for new ways and learned to heal myself, got into more gardening and wild foraging, juicing and things, healed myself, and then became a holistic health coach and got a PhD in metaphysics, and then just, I don't know, I guess it's pretty much been my passion to let other people know that they don't have to go through the same things I did, or if they are going through it, which is totally understandable, that there is a gentle way out. So I guess that's it in a nutshell.
Well, you definitely have a lot of common sense knowledge and information to share with the layman, and I appreciate that. One of our topics tonight relates to Project Love Your Neighbor, and I think this is timely for myself, being harassed and stalked by a neighbor that thinks the property around him beyond his property happens to be his, which is not in fact the truth. So maybe we can also talk about dealing with racist, unruly neighbors that just want us to leave a city that in fact doesn't belong to them. All different techniques that we may need to exercise, as more and more listeners seek to create their own independent communities, whether it be in the grid or outside the grid. And, Christie, that's why I'm out here, and I left Portland and I left Dallas, because I realized, as you talked about in one of your videos, if we're going to be in poverty, we might as well learn to make it work for us instead of against us, and do those things that in the past we never had the time to do. For example, I remember years ago when I was working at a restaurant, there was never enough time for what I really wanted to do, for relationships, travel, I mean, you name it. I never had the time, and yet I never made enough money to really do anything beyond pay my rent. So since I lost my job in 2009, I've been liberated in a lot of ways. So I know that you have a lot to share on this. But tell us about the project Love Your Neighbor.
All right. Well, that's just something that kind of came about with, basically based on lifestyle and seeking ways to better, in a nutshell, I got tired of the bitching and whining and complaining, okay? Like, oh, my God, all our food is poisoned, or, oh, this is too expensive, or I hate state-run daycare, I hate supporting these corporations, and all of these things that we hear, but I didn't really see people doing it. So I just, came up with this idea, which I really don't even want to say is my idea. I definitely don't own it. I believe that this is the way that we have evolved as a species over who knows how many years, whether you want to, say 5,000 or 5 billion. It's all the same to me. But I believe that that's what brought us here. I know people are kind of looking for ways and solutions. And so to me, it just felt like a solution, something that anyone could do, and you don't have to be part of a group. There's no master, there's no leader, there's no members, there's no rules, there's nobody telling anyone, hi, I'm the boss, and you have to do it my way. So I just figured if I planted these seeds, that people can take it and run with it. You don't have to be on the internet. It's just simply a way of life. And I love what you're doing, Alex. I mean, being off the grid entirely is, definitely a dream come true.
Oh, not only that, I'm actually having to sit outside on the grass where there are fire ants. Because you can signal. I can't even stay in my car. There are about 100 birds circling above me. It's really unique.
Well, it sounds pretty.
It's unique, yeah.
The birds sound great. I hear them singing. But, yeah, so, I love what you're doing. It's total, dream come true. That's something I would like to evolve to. But, unfortunately, we're in this society where it's just not practical for everybody just to quit their jobs, quit everything they're doing and move out to the country like you're doing, right? So,
right. And it happens sometimes different ways. For me, I was kind of forced out. I couldn't find anywhere to live in the city. So I decided if I was going to be homeless, I would go for rural, and I would basically trust in God and ask the Creator to send me somewhere. So through synchronicity, He sent me someone that told me where to go. So It really happened. I know, and that's the message that I think we're bringing to the table here on programs like this, that even though we're waking up to certain realities about what they are trying to create for us, the Alex Jones worldview has reached many people, but I believe has also polluted many people's perception of how it's all going to play out with the whole 80% depopulation theory and attack. And what I found, Christie, is that in the 7 or 8 years since I got involved in the alternative media, I've never really dealt with full-on government harassment. What I've dealt with is my own struggles to coexist in the zombie apocalypse. Yeah. And to have positive relationships that are based on true values, sacred sexuality, as opposed to all the stuff in society that is kind of has immersed people, healthy living, healthy eating, and getting off of the internet a lot more. So I've been learning those things just by being here. Internet withdrawal is kind of a huge thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Not everybody's ready for. Yeah,
it's worse than crack, for sure. But I love what you just said, Alex, that you really, you didn't plan on doing it that way, but you felt like you were forced out of where you were, and I've totally experienced that myself, and, losing jobs, and I've actually done videos on this, because I know, in the society we're like, oh my gosh, we lost our minimum wage job, and, we need to keep running to, sitting in in traffic to and from work each day just to pay for a roof over our head and, still barely get by. And when we lose it, we feel so devastated. But in all actuality, isn't it just like one of the greatest blessings ever? Because you can trust the magic, you can trust God, and like how you said, the perfect people came into your life and told you where to go, and now you're just doing it and living this dream is just, I don't know. I just think that's absolutely beautiful and a wonderful example.
And I'm thinking, how can we apply this to really big things? Really big things. When I went to the Free Your Mind conference in Philadelphia, the only reason that manifested is because a caller, a listener here at American Freedom Radio, offered to purchase my ticket there if I can get on the speaking roster, which is exactly what happened a week later. And so now my goal is to just start building my own home. But how can we apply this, in your opinion, the power of manifestation towards reversing certain things? Because when I went to the Free Mind Conference, I talked with Curtis Davis and a few other people about this, and it seems that there's a large wake-up call to use this power not for selfish personal means, like material things, but for a selfless act for the greater good. There seems to be this quickening that we have this power.
Yeah, it does seem like people are waking up definitely at a higher rate. And I don't even really want to use the term waking up because that implies that, we have no more growth and we already know everything there is to do. So, we're all in the process of waking up from the time we're born, or I would really liken it to remembering our true selves and where we came from. So I think that in this process, one of the first things that happens is we get scared. We're like, oh my gosh, everything I thought I knew is a total lie. Where's my foundation? So you feel scared, you feel lost, then you feel betrayed, you feel angry. And so what happens? Well, I'll tell you, at least in my experience, I tried to get involved in politics because, of course, it was the only system I knew. And I'm like, well, we have to go change this. And so what do? That old saying, you become what you fight. It takes two to tango. So we end up spending our energy fighting these perceived enemies, or whether it's, a three-lettered agency or four or five-letter, or, whoever it is. And I just found that really wasn't the way. There was no change within this system. So I kind of, stepped out of it as much as I could, but not by fighting it or trying to change it, which I had spent years on before. I know you said that you haven't had too much stalking or things like that from government agencies since you've been doing radio, but I have. And when I first started, it was in politics. In fact, I've been burnt literally live on the air. Well, I'm on the radio and videotaping by uniformed police officers, and, another time arrested live on the air with my children kidnapped, at gunpoint, and everyone getting beat up and crazy stuff. So it was basically a series of mistakes or thinking that I could fight it to change it that led me to the outlook and perspective I have now, where I just prefer to ignore it. Just to, focus on my life, what feeds my soul, what makes me happy, because then in turn, I am able to help other people. I am of better use in my house, in my garden, with my community, with my neighbors, with my friends, with my family, with my profession. And, so that kind of works for me. I would like to caution people. I kind of learned the hard way is all of these, I don't want to say all, and I don't even believe they were all designed this way purposefully, but what happens when you're, tangoing in that system that is clearly controlled, well, they also provide the groups for you to lawfully protest them, right? So you're really working with the people that you think you're fighting against. So Project Love Your Neighbor was like, hello, ding, the light comes on. If you really want to take the power out of the corporations and all these people that people, complain about all day till, they're blue in the face, stop spending your money there. if you really are pissed off at mainstream media and, paying your $100 a month cable bill, stop paying it. If you really, so it was basically a solution-based idea that would get people to get to know their neighbors. And another thing that happens is after like the anger and the resentment and betrayal and, trying to fix it type thing, is that you feel like you have to do everything. Oh, well, I have to go off the grid. I have to have 100 acres so I can have horses, cows, goats, chickens, ducks, rabbits, and grow every single fruit, vegetable, and nut known to man, which really is highly unlikely and, kind of puts a lot of pressure on people. So Project Love Your Neighbor is about finding those couple things that you love to do, share it with your neighbors, and go to them first before you support the corporations.
Definitely. We'll talk more about that. Come back with our guest, Christie from Soul Journey Radio, right here on American Freedom Radio. Back after this.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right. Soul Journeys Radio, right here on American Freedom Radio, is with us, and we're talking about Project Love Your Neighbor. And a lot of people have talked about skill shares, going beyond a local currency and going straight to trading skill for skill. One person may know how to build something. One person may know how to put up a solar system, a solar panel system. Somebody might know about wind generators. Somebody may know how to make clothes. Someone may know how to make really good pizza and really good food. So in an independent community, we kind of need to have all of those bases covered. You may need to have a spiritual a guidance counselor, perhaps someone that knows how to mediate a conflict. In small communities, a lot of conflicts can arise. So Christie, I'm hoping that maybe someone listening to this show or one of your future shows or my future shows may want to help us make this website a reality, something like Craigslist, where people can go and they can click on their city and then go into certain subsections where they have their skills laid out. Because I think that, I was saying to you during the break, maybe something like this already exists, but I haven't heard of it. So there needs to be something. If there's someone that knows how to make websites, this would be a great contribution to a solution.
Yeah, I agree. So, anybody who is web savvy and knows how to do that, I purchased the domains like a year ago. So they're ready to go. I don't know how to do it. And that's okay because, honestly, it's less about the website than it is about the idea, because this is something that anyone can do. Just how many people actually know their neighbors? Anymore? I'm thinking not many. And so we can get to know them and go introduce ourselves. Hi, my name's Christie. I have a fabulous garden. I make medicinal teas and lotions and creams. I'm a health coach. I can babysit. Before you go to Walmart to pick up your cupcakes on the way to your office meeting, perhaps you can purchase them from me. Order your office cupcakes or donuts here, right? Instead of picking them up at some corporation on your way to work, or you might find out that your neighbor fixes computers, or they're electricians, or they're plumbers, or they're mechanics, or they can watch your children so you don't have to, send them to state-run daycare, or maybe some of them are educators, or whatever it is. So that's what it's about, kind of bringing things back locally. And, many of us, myself and yourself included, Alex, and a lot of us are doing straight barter. But, again, I realize that doesn't work for everyone with everything at this particular time. So, hey, if you're having one of those cushy jobs where you need to pick up those muffins on the way to your office meeting every day, maybe you have the money to trade me cash, right? Because right now, most of us do need cash to pay for our water or electricity or gas in our vehicles. I haven't figured out how to barter that yet. But I do believe that times are changing, and it is going to come. You mentioned solar panels, and there's lots of people doing that and rewiring their cars, and I really think that is where society is headed. And I think Project Love Your Neighbor is kind of a good way to just reconnect with the community and take the economy back local. I was doing some research on, I'll just use Walmart, for example. They bring in something like $40 million an hour. Oh, my God. Could you imagine if we were just able to shave off 1% of that by keeping it local? Or what if we even got 10% of that? People like you and me and the listeners of the show that are getting to know their neighbors, and one of them's making their baby booties, and the other one, the cloth diapers, and the other one the milk, and the other one your salad greens, or whatever it is. I mean, how beautiful would that be?
Or what if Walmart, by law, this may be controversial to some people, but it's my opinion at the moment, what if Walmart, in order to be able to operate in a certain jurisdiction, had to give 1% of its sales, or 0.5% of whatever they're grossing towards a local community co-op? Because we have something called Access TV, which you may have heard of, and Alex Jones started on that, and there's a lot of great Freeman Fly, my friend, used to do a show on Access, and I miss my Access show. That's provided for because of the cable monopolies. They have to pay the local cities that much just to operate their monopoly on the fiber optic cables. And they started Access TV in the 1970s. So maybe that type of model could be implemented. So in dealing with Walmart, there's so many things that need to be done. But I was saying, Christie, to a few people, the biggest advertiser for Walmart is people through word of mouth saying, I got it cheaper at Walmart.
Oh, and wow.
Even though this is a really beautiful area where I'm at, here in the San Luis Valley near the San Juan Mountains, Walmart is the main supplier for basic outdoor off-the-grid stuff, whether it's tiki torches or whether it's a propane stove. And the propane stove I bought from Walmart broke on me. Now I have to get another one.
Oh, no.
It's things like that. But, yeah, I really hope someone listening wants to help Christie out, because I'd like to see this project move forward. Has anybody contacted you yet?
A few people have, and then just things kind of, I don't know. I don't hear from them after a while. But, I mean, things are growing. We have like over 800 on the Facebook group, and 2 chapters have already started, one in Alaska, one in Missouri, and they're doing local things like I was talking to you on the break, the free school. We started here, or my friend started April 1st here in southwest Missouri, which is just a conglomeration of people like us. Some of us have skills that we'd like to share, and some of us have skills that we would like to learn. So it's all volunteer-based and lots of bartering, farmers markets, things like that. We get to learn things about, natural medicine, or, say, fermenting, cooking, essential oils, herbs, language classes, crochet classes, sewing classes, raising chickens, survival classes, all sorts of really beautiful things. So it's kind of coming together. So I'm just thinking, if it's something that we live, if it's something that we do, if it's something we talk about, that's more important than, you know, a website ultimately. However, a website would be a wonderful way to share it.
Well, I have a very positive feeling that someone's going to hear this, that needs to hear this, that has the skills, and they may want to help out. Now, we will take phone calls tonight. We have Christie for another hour and a half, and the number is 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. And, Christie, one of the other reasons I came here is to get more practical experience dealing with people. Whether they're aware of certain truths or not, just for the practical hands-on experience. And I've lived in a lot of urban environments where neighbors throughout this vibe, almost this porcupine aura, you know, don't talk to me or you're going to get spiked. And it's very uncomfortable. Even if there are people here that don't like each other, because we're low in numbers, we know who each other is. We know where you know, certain resources are. We work with other people to go get water. So even though I'm in a really lightly populated area, I will go ahead and say I know about 20 neighbors, which is a record for me. So record low number in terms of residents, record high number of people actually knowing each other. And so it's experience, though, coming to people at the level that we're at and not getting too deep with them about certain issues.
Yeah,
you know,
good
that's
point.
not easy.
Yeah, no, it's not. But, you know, it's, again, we're all on our path, and I was talking with one of my friends today, like, he couldn't understand why people didn't want to listen to his advice in healing. And it's like, look, you can say the exact same thing twice at two different times in someone's life. If they're not ready to hear it, you know, it's going to sound like nagging or an attack or something. So, you know, I've really had to learn, you know, maybe my parents are right. Don't speak until spoken to. You know, don't offer advice unless people want it. And it's kind of, you know, I have to remember where I was. When I was in a wheelchair and, you know, going to all the doctors and taking all their stupid drugs and everything they told me to do, you know, if somebody would have told me that my health was my responsibility, I probably would have punched him in the face. You know, like, oh, how heartless. How dare you say that? Don't you know I'm special? I have all these diseases that I'm going to hold on to and make them part of my identity for the rest of my life so I can feel sorry for myself and be dependent and have people like you feel sorry for me forever, you know? And I know that sounds kind of in your face saying it that way, but really the truth is our health, our life is our responsibility, and unfortunately things aren't going to change the world to where we want to see it until we change ourselves. As long as people keep looking for a master, a leader, a doctor, whoever outside themselves, there is no self-empowerment. There is none. So I don't know. I really appreciate what you're doing. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate your work, and I want to get some of your opinions on a few things because I like your opinions. What do you think about shooting for and pushing for people to create their own colonies of liberty? Because, you know, I support Ron Paul like a lot of people. There's a lot of things that happened in the campaign that made me a little bit concerned as to how it was run. You know, and if Ron Paul was very capable, how could he let Jesse Benton get away with things that he did that were really disruptive to the campaign? So I'm thinking as the Ron Paul campaign was going on, I was talking to liberty-minded people saying, what are you going to do in the post-2012 world other than talk about revolution and guns in the street? I mean, how far can we push our creativity here? Is it really down to that? If Ron Paul doesn't win, we got to have a revolution? And has there been a revolution as of lately? You know, I'm looking at my watch and I'm not seeing it. So I'm thinking, if people are really scared about a bio-death weapon that's going to take out 80% of the population, you would think that would motivate people enough to go, well, we got to use Facebook while we've got it. We've got to use YouTube while we got it, to find the others that can see and create our own, not cults, but cities. I really am thinking big here. Yeah, I think that there's enough of us that we can have our own metropolitan areas. That's far bigger than anything like the Free State Project. And I think that, well, at least that's where my fantasies go, you know, because soul's journey, I've now come to the point where I don't care what happens to the body. It's all a matter of where the soul goes.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
And-
I totally agree. I think that, I mean, people are kind of doing things like that. Like you mentioned, Free State Project. I do remember I was supporting Granny, Linda Honeycutt, Granny Warriors, and Michael Badnarik. They were going to Texas and setting up a city, and he was going to be, you know, run for sheriff and things like that. I totally support doing things like that. However, for me, I would like to be without structure, kind of. I would like to not ever have to deal with a city council or a mayor or a police chief or a sheriff or a governor or any of that again. I guess I'm kind of anarchist in my tendencies, where I just think that we should work together. As you mentioned, one person makes the clothes, one person does the building, or obviously more than one, but, you know, we all have skills. And I know many of us think that, oh, well, we need government to build the roads for us, or to make the buildings for us, or to make those beautiful monuments for us, or to protect the parks for us. But what? I think they've protected, over 70% of the entire landmass in the United States, meaning that we can't touch it. I mean, we can go to a few select places after paying a $30 ticket to walk in and go look at a pretty rock like Mount Rushmore or something. But is that really protecting it? I would like to see something a little more pure, where people lived in harmony for each other, where it wasn't, well, this is, you know, no borders at all. You know, no county lines, no anything. Where we're actually free to travel anywhere, not with permission of having a license and paying your road taxes and paying your astronomical gas taxes. So there are a few commune-type places, I guess, in Missouri and even Texas, which I think are absolutely beautiful. I totally support what they're doing. They're living off the land. Some of them, like Trade Winds, they make their own products that they sell in stores, you know, nut butters, dried fruits, vegetables, etc. And that's how they make it, so they can pay the man for their land. But wouldn't it be cool if we could just kind of pick a spot of land and say, I want to live here? I don't know. I'm kind of an idealist.
To the point where we don't need a state, like you said, government, because, you know, there are some of us that are evolving beyond this perception that we need to continue to pay tribute to the modern king. And that's exactly what it is.
People freak out when I say things like this, you know, like, oh my gosh, anarchy, well, what's going to happen? And everybody's going to be crazy, and everybody's going to go start murdering and raping people. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Do you need a law to tell you not to go steal from your neighbor, or not to rape his wife, or not to, you know, I don't think so, number one. Number two, who's doing all the murdering in this world? It certainly
also,
ain't the little people in the neighborhood.
Right, exactly. And there's enough good men that would protect that type of to evolve beyond that as well. And we'll be back with Christie from Soul Journeys Radio right here on American Freedom.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Yo, what's up? Check this out.
The voice of the revolution. American Freedom Radio.
numbers to join the conversation and ask Christie a question about health, wellness, and there's so many topics we can continue to get into tonight. The number is 218-339-8525. And Christie, I just want to say, I'm glad you're out there, and that, I remember looking at the alternative media 7 years ago, at the names, the pictures on some of these websites and RBN and Genesis, and going, there needs to be more females. There needs to be more, less of a male-dominated, because we need more perspectives from the feminine, especially when it comes to health. Not just physical health, but emotional health. I think that there's a lot of souls that are on this planet right now, and this soul's journey we've got going on, that are specifically on this planet to learn about emotions, to learn about cause and effect, to have empathy. What are your thoughts on that? Because I'm convinced that there are some very old souls amongst us. Some of us have memories of other battles, invasions, places, and time, so we understand this New World Order stuff on a pretty intimate level. And then there's some other people that seem like they just got here. They're still sniffing butts. They're still scratching. They seem like they're new to being in human form. And I just find that to be fascinating.
Yeah, what you said about emotions and healing are of utmost importance, because whatever we manifest physically has already happened energetically. So, and as far as dis-ease is concerned, disease, you need to find what you're not at ease with. So if, for example, if you have, maybe you're suffering a hardened heart, or you've had your heart broken a few times, and, maybe even a little bit of abuse and trauma in there, and you don't want to, you're afraid to express yourself or love, or for some reason feel you don't deserve love from others, well, that kind of manifests in heart problems, whereas grief and such will be concentrated in the lungs and show up in, as asthma or COPD or emphysema and such. So, yeah, I definitely agree. Everything starts on an emotional level, and that's how I work as a holistic health coach. It's not, some people think that natural medicine is, oh, well, I did this thing and just prescribe me an herb, or, give me an herb to use. And that's, eerily similar to what we're trying to get away from. So I try to incorporate all of that, physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental, into one, and you find out what the root is. Why are we having these problems? Nip it in the bud there and incorporate it, and, pamper yourself in baby steps so it becomes a lifestyle. It's not like a drastic change. Because herbs can be like drugs, too, and people get addicted to herbs as well. So, yeah. And you asked me another question after that. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time remembering that. But in relation to remembering timelines, and I definitely believe that. A lot of us have lived pretty much the same thing over and over, what we're doing right now. So I think in reference to what you said about it seems like some people just got here, that's okay, because there was a time where I think we were too. I mean, if you would have talked to me 15 years ago about any of this stuff, my eyes would have glazed over. I'd have been like, dude, because I was programmed. Hello, I knew what was going on in the world. I watched Fox News and NBC and CNN, So I definitely would have been one of those people that look at me funny today. What are you talking about? If there was really poison in the food, the FDA wouldn't approve it. Or if these chemicals really hurt us, they wouldn't put it in the water. That's what they're here to protect us. Come on, you crazy person. So I just think we need to be gentle with them and love them as we needed to be loved exactly where we were and our growth. Because, again, we're still growing. There really isn't a race. In my opinion, it's not like, maybe some of us are in kindergarten, some of us are in first grade, some of us might be, in junior high. But I don't think there's really any truly, completely awake or evolved, person walking on the planet, or they wouldn't really have to be here anymore. So, I mean, that's just my perspective.
And I was thinking, as I was making a YouTube video, there's a lot of people out there that seem very enlightened amongst us. But when you really get to know some of these people, you find it's quite the opposite, because none of us are perfect, even though there seems to be this hidden standard that we reach some sort of perfection. You know, it's ridiculous. But I'm starting to realize that some of us have issues just to deal with, just relating to mutual respect and learning to love and appreciate the talents of others. I mean, once we can get beyond, oh, we're under attack, they're chemtrailing us. You know, once we get beyond that, then, you know, because ultimately if you put all of us independent thinkers together in a single room, it could end up as a riot. You know, so we have to start testing our abilities to get together in big rooms and continue having conferences and sharing information. You know, things like,
because even there, everybody thinks, well, this is the one right way, and I know everything now, and all the rest of you are beneath me. But it's so silly. I think we have to kind of detach from our beliefs, what we think we know, and even challenge it as often as you can. Don't just accept other people's words. And guess what? If there's things that you can't explain, it is totally okay. I just don't, you know, I have a hard time with people that think that they can explain everything, you know, interplanetary, and, you know, I know exactly what's happening on this planet and this, you know, it's like, really? Or like people who fight about what Jesus supposedly said 2,000 years ago. It's like, really? I mean, can't we all get along? It's like, can't you believe that Jesus was whatever you want to believe, and your friend can believe that Jesus never existed, and your other friend could be, you know, of some other religion or whatever? I mean, can't we still play in the sandbox together and have differing opinions? I don't know. We really have come a long way, but I think we have a long ways to go. But again, I think it boils back to our programming and fear, and ultimately fear of death, self-hate, and guilt. Because if you love yourself, you are not going to willingly hand yourself over to slavery. You're just not. So pretty much everything kind of boils down to that. And, you know, you mentioned chemtrails, and that kind of reminded me. I think like a week ago I tweeted a video or something. No, it was a garden video that I did on YouTube. And I got all these messages like, oh, well, you know, I hope it comes out okay. Good luck with that. But with all the chemtrails and acid rain, you're never going to be able to grow anything. You know, it's going to be poisoned if you do. And I'm just like laughing. I'm like, really? Okay, first of all, I've been growing, you know, a lot of my own food for 6 or 7 years. In that time, I completely healed myself from these incurable, so-called incurable diseases by the establishment. So if we weren't able to grow anything but poison because what they are allegedly doing, then, I mean, I don't know, it's working for me. So it was really interesting to see that the fear had paralyzed them so much that they're afraid to grow their own food.
Right.
And so then what happens? They go back and support the same corporations that they're going to go scream and yell about on the streets, like Monsanto or whoever else. It's like, come on, the solution is simple. You don't have to buy their stuff, period. Okay, even if we have chemtrails every day and acid rain every day, I guarantee what I produce in my garden is 1,000 times better than what you can get in the store, number one. Number two, I did it myself. And I'm not supporting these people that are hurting other people, right? So, I don't know. It's just, we have to get beyond that.
Well,
and, yeah.
You've never had a migraine until someone tells you that the chemtrails are killing them as they cough and they rasp on their 10th cigarette that hour. I mean, when you see that, then you've really hit the headache. I mean, you know, 10 out of 10. But yeah, the victim consciousness, I'm working really hard, Christie, on the show to counter that. And I used to cover a lot of surveillance society, Big Brother, you know, Agenda 21, 9/11 news. You know, and my perception started to, you know, really branch out even farther in 2008 2009, 2010. And one of the things that I talk about on this show is the victim consciousness, the things that people have, the energy people have sent me over the years, and experiences I've had as a result of just simply speaking the truth. And even though there is government harassment, and I would even say alien harassment, psychic attacks, and all that's very serious, the biggest issue for me was dealing with that victim consciousness. Maybe, you're on a date with someone and they're like, well, if I get involved with you, I'm going to be on the list. Maybe something like that. And that gets really internalized, Christy, over the years when that happens over and over and over again. Or when people are attacked in their dreams because they're associated with you. Or other victim consciousness things like, oh, well, if I grow my own food, they're going to come after me because they read an article about it happening somewhere where they use a drone. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe they're pushing these articles and allowing them to be out there about the drone attacking the farm so they can frighten everyone else. Yeah. There was a story in Oregon about a person put in jail for a large rainwater containment area he made. He dug a large reservoir. And in Oregon, as you know, it rains a lot. So it's kind of a ridiculous story. But that story got picked up nationwide, and everybody started to pair it on Facebook. If I do this, they're going to come after me. And I beg the question.
Or front yard gardens. I totally agree. Very good point, Alex.
Well, let's get some phone calls in this second hour. We've got one more hour with Christy, and that number is 218-339-8525, and we'll be back in 3 minutes.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christy on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Hour 2 of Outside the Box. By the way, we're here once a week and Saturday nights. That's the night, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Central Standard Time. That's 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock Pacific Time, or 9 to 11 if you live on the East Coast. Christy, you were talking about, loving ourselves for who we are. And you made a video about nakedness, and I was thinking, actually, my neighbor, I was sharing the video with him because he enjoys a lot of the alternative media stuff I'm exposing him to. He can't get enough. And he was saying, if we were meant to be ashamed of our bodies, God would have made us with foreskin around our whole naked body, so we would have to just crawl out of it.
Hey, well, we would just circumcise it.
Plant that weird image of foreskin around our whole body.
Yeah, well, doctors would just circumcise it, so... Oh, it's so crazy, the shame and humiliation and everything regarding the human body. I mean, I happen to believe that we were all born perfect, exactly the way we were supposed to. I mean, we don't, look at nature. We're not going out and grabbing flowers and, circumcising them or telling them to wear bras or making them, we're the only species that puts on clothes, that hides ourselves. And, the shame is definitely very real. I'm embarrassed. I mean, I wore a dress today to go out and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is that too much skin showing? And, he's like, why are you asking me this? And I'm like, well, I'd like to feel more comfortable being a little more open and free, but we are in a society where, I've been bra-free for quite some time, and it's a huge step to take, but I did it for health. Of course, some of the side effects of that were not only health, but even cosmetic. So yay for that. That's another show, of course. I have done videos.
Now, I didn't watch your video on going braless. Sorry to interrupt. But what psychological effects could there be to wearing a bra too much? Maybe subservient energy or things of that nature when you're all strapped up and kind of in a harness?
Exactly. Yeah. Imagine putting a corset on your whole life. Are you going to be a little uptight? Yeah, I think so. Not only that, it blocks the lymphatic flow, which is essentially the sewer system of the human body. So that's why there's a direct correlation to bras and breast cancer. For example, in countries or in cultures where there are no bras, where women don't wear bras, there's the same incident of breast cancer as there is for men, which is like less than 1%. They've done Harvard has done studies, China has done studies, what was the one in South America? I think Venezuela, and then the French one that was just completed. There's a direct correlation. So when you're squeezing that lymph, all of that waste is getting stuck where? Well, in your breasts and in your armpits. But it doesn't stop there. So, you can pull an Angelina Jolie and allegedly chop your boobs off. That is not going to protect you from any type of cancer, including breast cancer, because that's what a lymphs are. But, it doesn't end at just bras. It's anything that is constricting, anything that leaves red marks on your body. So socks, belts, jeans, elastic, hats even, underwear, even boxers, guys. So, basically if something is leaving a red mark on your skin, it is blocking your flow. When it's blocking your flow physically, internally, what do you think is happening energetically, mentally as well? So I saw a direct correlation with going bra-free and being able to, kind of wake up, so to speak, and see the world from new eyes. I feel so much freer. By the way, if anybody is interested in this, I just want to say I have no more breast pain, no breast tenderness, no PMS, no cramps. My boobs have actually lifted. Since I've gone bra-free, they're more round. They're no longer hanging out in my armpits when I'm laying on my back. They're actually up on their chest where they used to be. And my stretch marks are gone. Oh, and I had a cyst when I started this on my left breast, which is also gone. So it's, health reasons is why I did it. However, there are many other cosmetic reasons, emotional, mental, and spiritual reasons as well. So if you are interested in learning more about that, I have made tons of videos. But Sidney Ross Singer, he is like the greatest. He's been promoting this for a couple decades at least after the Fiji study where, he went there with his wife and the women were like, what's this? What are you wearing? And, so that was kind of their path into discovering and opening the Institute, the Self-Study Center, the Institute for Culturogenic Disease in Hawaii. And he sets up self-studies with women all over doing this. And anyways, he wrote a book called Dress to Kill, which will tell you all about it and all the other diseases that it's associated with. But yeah, you asked me, how do I feel going bra-free? Just absolutely tremendous. And it gets me, looking back on how uptight and kind of stiff, I used to be to now I feel more natural. Granted, sometimes some old ladies, I live in the Bible Belt, so sometimes I do get a couple looks, but, not from men, nothing like perverted. Nobody points their finger and says, ew, mommy, she's not wearing it, but nobody cares. Nobody cares at all. So that's more programming we have to get over, and I've just really been looking at how we've been taught to hate ourselves. to despise ourselves. Oh, we're all supposed to look like a 20-year-old, Barbie doll centerfold on Playboy or something, with Photoshop included, right from the time you wake up, and airbrushing. And, so I'm going to do a project here in the winter about shaving my armpits. Again, it's just part of me questioning all these beliefs and where it came from. I've been looking into how we have been shamed. Oh, this is, you have to do this to look like a beautiful woman. And then, they end up selling us a bunch of products and making us hate our natural state. So I've decided I want to know what's up with, why do we shave our armpits? I'm sure God probably put it there for a reason, and I'm going to find out what that reason is. So actually, one of my friends, who's a guy, who of course wants me to shave, and, I shave my armpits. I just do. But again, I love testing myself and trying out new things. He decided that he's going to shave his armpits for 60 days. And I'm not. And we're going to do little videos and talk about our experiences. And maybe we will find out, maybe I'll have some kind of epiphany about why the hair is there. And who knows, I might go back to shaving. I might not. I don't know. But, yeah, it's all just part of, questioning this existence and why we do what we do. I don't know. Most of the things we do, it's because our parents told us to. Period.
Right. One time I shaved my head. I think the year was 2000. I was just curious how that would turn out. It started with a really bad haircut, and I just thought I would just shave it all off and see how it would rebound. But what you're saying applies to men, very much so. I was born with, a naturally hairy body due to my father's genetics, and I've always been shunned for it, even by other men. And I always thought it was really bizarre. Yeah, women, I don't think they really understand. I know you do. What it's like on the other side. People just think it happens to women, but deep psychological problems can come about from someone hating themselves or their own genetics. Definitely. And I grew up in a world where a lot of that was thrown my direction. Even, my mother didn't like people from over there because things didn't work out very well with her and my father. And I've gone down and written things down in a deprogramming process in an attempt to really just clean out all the dirt, because I'm realizing how much is there from just living in this world in this modern age. And I think that men have as much, or maybe even more so, more work to do along those lines of self-love, of however the Creator and their parents, which were made by the Creator, made them. And to really understand what is racism when we criticize how other people's manifestations of their body turns about, and we make judgments upon it, we may unknowingly be responding to some sort of primal racist gene of groups combating over women, over territory, over popularity. And I just sometimes feel that subtle energy in today's world, even though we're supposedly much more enlightened and whatnot. I still see the Viking energy all over, running around, the barbarian stuff.
I've seen it. Yeah, totally. But yeah, I've seen what you're saying. Like with men, you get criticized if you have too much hair. You get criticized if you don't have enough hair. Women get criticized if their hair's not just so. And, you have to shave it here, but not there. And you better do it there, but not here. It's like, who makes these rules? And why? I mean, why are we, again, the only living creature that feels that we have to modify our natural, innate perfection? I don't understand.
Well, let me get your take on this, because I think you're going to have some very interesting things to share with all of us. I happen to believe that there is no collective shift in consciousness until, this is just my opinion, but it's been a strong one for the last 5 or 6 years, and my own personal experience has kind of fed into this. Until men and women are more at balance with each other, and that includes seeing each other as brothers and sisters and being able to communicate in a non-sexual way, but also to be able to communicate in a sexual way.
Yeah.
Not being weird, with it being healthy and great. Until we reach that point, there is no collective shift in consciousness. We will continue to go on the downward spiral and the regression of the human species and the family structure until that love comes back. And I think that as men and women, we have unique challenges that we've got to face. For a man, it's to see beyond a woman's breast and beyond the size of her butt and beyond the primitive. Is it going to be a good procreative experience for me? And for a woman, it's got to go beyond he has to have money and go and be 6 foot tall and be a knight in shining armor. I think there are biological things that are in us. Who knows how they got in us, whether it's just our own genetics or whether some extraterrestrial tampering has contributed to some sort of, warped desire within the human body. What are your thoughts on the responsibilities that men and women uniquely may have to look at in order to become more conscious when it comes to how we see ourselves and just relationships as a whole, going beyond using each other for physical purposes and really experiencing true love? Because I believe these are, for a lot of people, there are exceptions, the most unromantic times in history because of the energetics taking place and the shifting. So what are your thoughts on all that?
Oh, wow. Very good questions and very good points. And I'm totally with you, Alex. I do believe, again, it boils down to self-love. For example, you bring up like the woman who gives women a bad name, who just, you have to have this perfect car, you have to make X amount of dollars or whatever. A lot of times in those dynamics, the guy also has some healing to do. He's thinking, she's hot, I want my little trophy wife, and I'm working all the time anyways, so I want my eye candy the 2 hours I'm, able to spend at home. It's, these relationships, I'm sure you've all seen them, they're not very happy. I mean, they might look like it on the surface. Yeah, they might have the big house, they might have the fancy clothes, they might have the boob jobs and the makeup, and, they might be on the front page of your paper or whatever. They might be socialites, but, behind the scenes, there is not a lot of self-love or nurturing going on. I think we both put a lot of pressure on not our own sex and the opposite sex. For example, you brought up healing earlier and emotions, and, we're told, men have no emotions and they don't cry and, they're such jerks. But, hello, moms, women, how many times did you tell your son not to cry? Is he being a baby? Is he being a sissy? Is he being gay? Is he being, what is it? Oh, come on, tough it up. And, so these things are ingrained in us as a child. So I think we can start nurturing that within each other. For example, there's a lot of us, men and women, who are afraid to express their emotions at all, including anger, because we're taught that, you're not allowed to be angry, or maybe we got punished one too many times as a child. But we have to love ourselves and our partners enough to accept, things happen, emotions happen, they're just temporary. We can't nag our men, come on, talk, open up, tell me right now, how you're feeling. We have to understand that we're different. We just are. But when the male feels more comfortable expressing emotion, then you have to be able to allow that. You can't, put rules, tell me this emotion, your lovey-dovey stuff, and cry your heart out to me, but, don't you get mad. If he gets mad, then, that's violent, and, he's going to beat me, or, whatever, all these weird dynamics that are going on in people's relationships. So I think, number one, we need to nurture each other, but we have to be able to do it within ourselves first. Because then when it's genuine or not. If you're dating a plastic tomato or marrying a provider just because he has a good car or a good job, I just thought of Louis, my friend. He wrote a blog, Louis B. He suggested that all women can be bought. And my response to him was, if you're into buying women, the only type of women you can get are women that can be bought. Okay? So, can you be bought? What's your price? Men or women? Can you sell your soul for a paycheck? If so,
exactly.
Good for you.
I have referred
That's
to
not
men
what I want.
I've referred to men that go out as mercenaries and kill others that did nothing to this country as prostitutes.
Yeah. Totally.
So, yeah.
They're hired hitmen. I'm sorry, military. I love you. I don't blame you. I understand, but Yeah, you're hired hitmen, okay? And, you know, we're doing the same things. Hello, Stepford wives, come on. It's time to wake up and break through that. You are more than your body. You're more than your boobs. You're more than your ass. You're more than your, you know, the size of your house. There is so much more to all of us. And I just hope that, I really feel that we're in a time where people are starting to discover that. And it might get a little messy, and it might get a little yucky, and it might be a little scary, like, oh my gosh, what does being a full-spectrum human being mean? I don't know what that is. This is so foreign. I just want to go back to my box and eat my bonbons and drink my Bud Light.
Oh, that sounds like life out here. Or life in a lot of places. All right, for those listening, we want to get some phone calls and some other opinions, some other thoughts, some other feelings, some other human expressions. 218-339-8525. Christie from Soul Journeys Radio is with us for 2 more seconds.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American
It's practically narcotic.
freedom
Oh, yes, I like very much.
radio.
They're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
Oh, by the way, go ahead and type into Google, "Hey Joe, what do you think of the state of the world?" And you see me walking up on a Dallas cop, and I'm just like, "Hey Joe, what's up? What do you think of the state of the world?" And he just looked at me like I just arrived from an alien planet. But it's pretty fun stuff. I try to make funny videos every now and then, not just serious videos, and videos about off the grid, and videos about my perceptions of how the sun is affecting consciousness, though. So for all those that are new listeners, don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AlexAnsary. You got 7 years of just my own growth, in a way, being documented since 2004 and 5. And then, of course, you have Christie's YouTube channel, which, could you spell that out for us?
On YouTube, it's Soul Journeys Radio. So SOULJOURNEYS Radio. And, same as the website, souljourneysradio.com.
Well, I think your videos are great. The lighting is good. It's not always good in all videos. The production's good. The background's good. So keep doing what you're doing. I think that you're going to continue to inspire a lot of other people to do likewise. And, in fact, there's a young lady from a few states over that was talking to me not too long ago on Facebook about wanting to start her own radio show. You know, and all I can do is encourage her to do it, because there are a lot of people out there that would appreciate an additional perspective, especially if she's as opinionated as she says she is. You know, people like opinions, and they like them from younger people, and definitely that would be excellent to see. Now, with that, we have a phone call from the 503 area code. I believe that's a call from Portland. Welcome.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Christy. My name is Karen, and I am enjoying your show this evening. How are you?
Hi, Karen. Great. How are you?
Good, good. I'm a little bit nervous. Anyways, my sister and I have been sitting here listening, and we enjoy all the new knowledge that we're getting. And, Christy, I listen to a lot of your archive shows at work. I do data entry at times, and so I can just kind of plug in. And I've just learned so much. I'm kind of opening up to to a lot of new things. I think I'm at a point right now where I'm just getting a little overwhelmed, so I think sometimes we take 2 steps back before we take a step forward. But what I wanted to ask you, with of all the people that you've had on your show, who would you say is your favorite and why? I mean, with this, there's so much, for me, when I'm listening, there's so much information that comes in. Is there any particular person that's just moved you and to help you shift your thinking? That's kind of what I'm asking.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I'll put it to you this way. I've had one guest on the show every single week for over 3.5 years, and that's for a reason. His name is Tobias Lars, and he's on Thursday nights. And, I mean, I love all my guests. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love Shakti. They're all just Heather. I mean, they're such beautiful people with so much to offer. But I do have to say, Tobias has taught me personally the most. He has helped me in such, subtle yet tremendous ways. My perspective on life. I think he's like the number one guy or gal or human who has really helped me to feel safe being who I am. And I'll say that. Tobias Lars, he is just incredibly gifted and talented, and we are so blessed to have him there with us every week. But his show, they never get old. I mean, I can listen to an archive 3.5 years ago, and it's still totally relevant today. Has been the most crucial, I think, in my healing process. Uh-oh. Did we get cut?
Karen? And
I hear the birdies, so we didn't get cut. Okay.
Well, I'm still here. Well, Karen, thank you for your call. If you want to ask another question, you can call back in. It seems like we may have lost you, but we are still on the air, and we've also got time for several more phone calls. I'll check one more time. Karen, are you there? Okay, so we may have lost her. The number to join is 218-339-8525. Christy, here's another thing I know you have a lot to say about. Divine masculine, divine feminine. These terms I'm hearing a lot more. Not just divine feminine, but divine masculine, protective force. And these forces that are within each of us, whether we be men or women, and we need to exercise that. I definitely can feel the masculine and feminine in myself. When I look at your videos, I can see the masculine and feminine balanced energies. And I'm starting to recognize it when I come across balanced individuals. Because you articulate the path that can, how do I articulate this? Some of the steps we can take to be in that balanced state of consciousness.
Yeah. Well, I want to say I love both genders, masculine and feminine, and you're so right. We have both of that within us. So, I mean, I guess for me, again, getting over the programming, well, I'm a girl, I'm supposed to do girl things, that means I'm supposed to be home and be barefoot and pregnant and, stay in the kitchen and the garden, which, by the way, I love to do. All of that. I'm definitely not railing, but we also have these perspectives where all men are supposed to be breadwinners, and you're supposed to, bring home the bacon, and you're supposed to dump the trash and, mow the lawn and all of those types of gender roles, I suppose. But I think we're, as we incorporate both sides, it's becoming less and less polarized, which is also a beautiful thing. I don't think that it needs to be pushed on anyone, like, Alex, come on, wake up to your divine feminine now, I'm going to beat it into you, and or, vice versa, because that certainly doesn't work. But I think we're in a time where we're safer to be that way without being ridiculed or being called names, or, there's a lot of people that have stood before us. And I have to say, the homosexual, transgender community is really leading the front lines in getting people to accept both aspects into our being. And I know there's probably somebody saying, "Oh no, you can't say that. That's communist," or this is agenda or whatever. But I don't think it is. Well, I have a couple friends that are transgender, and they were men, or they were born men, and they never fit in. They always felt like they were born the wrong sex. And it wasn't until much later in life, like their 50s, where they were able to finally feel okay to dress the way they wanted to dress and, paint their nails or let their hair grow and things like that. And I just think that is an incredibly bold and courageous move in today's society. I'm not saying it's for everyone. And sometimes, I still do a double take. It's like, wait, Joe or Lynn? What's your name today? But really, does any of that even matter? Can you imagine a world without names? Because names are really just labels, and so are genders. And, in regards to the whole, I know the homosexual marriage and all of this stuff, I just don't understand why people care about what other people are doing in their bedrooms. Why? How is it hurting you? I mean, leave them alone. Let them do, whatever they want. Let men wear dresses. Let girls wear pants. Oh, wait. We already do that, haven't we? So the feminine has kind of been trying to fit into this masculine world, not by being themselves and sharing the gifts that they have, but to, try to masculinate themselves, which, doesn't really work. I did that myself. I used to wear suits every day and, the red suit and try to be that powerful person and fit in because I was afraid of my femininity. I thought that it was all, cool and emotional and dramatic and nagging and all the cliches, the typical things that we hear, with men are bashing women or women bashing men, etc. So, I don't know. I just really, a few years ago, if you would have asked me this, I would have been like, what? They're not on the front lines. That just, maybe 15 years ago, I probably would have said it was perverted. I look at it with new eyes now, and I appreciate how some of them are bridging the gap and finally, being free or feeling free and safe to come out with their sexuality. I mean, really, technically, sexuality, masculinity, femininity, yin-yang, they're the polar, it's part of the duality game.
I totally agree with what you're saying, but being a straight man from a very gay city, I will say that from my perspective, for those that want freedom, for some of them, they need to not be resentful towards those that are straight, because being from that type of city, I have felt a lot of reverse discrimination and unwanted attention and unwanted sexual comments. And if it's not appropriate for a man to say certain things to a woman, I don't think it's appropriate for him to say certain things to a man. And I do think we live in a society where the standards aren't exactly, and because certain groups are seeking equality, it almost seems like they're allowed to do things that heterosexuals are not. Such as pedophilia within the homosexual community. To me, it seems more socially acceptable than heterosexual pedophilia. Both are wrong. But, like the neighbor that I have here, he has a lot of experience with young boys. And because people don't want to offend him, it's become acceptable. So I totally agree with you.
No, and I totally, I agree with what you're saying, too. And I've totally seen that. It's just like, I'm mostly vegan, but I definitely rail against the vegan cult. There's definitely a homosexual cult. There's definitely a heterosexual cult, So I totally understand what you're saying, and there definitely is a lot of that. And I also see, like within educational institutions, where a lot of it is being pushed. Which, I really don't think anything should be pushed on anyone. I think, it's nice to be aware. But, the reverse discrimination, and it's really, there's no such thing as reverse discrimination. It's discrimination, Of
Right,
course,
exactly.
you being a heterosexual male, you're not allowed to be discriminated, so the media tells us it's reverse discrimination. But no,
Exactly.
it's discrimination. So, yeah, it would be really nice to just get, what it is, again, it boils down to fear, doesn't it? And it boils down to self-hate. Because if we loved ourselves, there's no way we can hate another. They're just little aspects of us anyways. Yeah, that doesn't mean you're going to like what other people do. You can definitely love them from afar. I'm not talking nicey-nicey, mamby-pamby, no boundaries, walk all over me. I'm going to invite you over to dinner and let you, kick my butt again. No, that's not what I'm talking. I love plenty of people from afar. And all that really means is just allowing them to exist. Just the way we want. We want the right to exist in our fullness, being all aspects of ourselves. I think we have to allow that for others. And the more that we break down our judgments, our veils, our walls, that just kind of happens naturally around us. I noticed, when I lost a lot of my judgments, there were less people around judging me. I don't know. It's just kind of spiritual physics. It kind of works that way. But I'm not saying that, the only reason you get judged is because obviously you're judgmental. And, I'm definitely not pointing fingers or, trying to paint it with a broad brush. But I have seen, as I've been able to, embrace other things that, 20 years ago I would have thought were completely abhorrent. My life has just changed so much, and I've been able to recognize the beauty and the pieces of myself, not only in the people I love very much, but the people that I would prefer to love from afar, because, I don't really like you. So.
I just want to say, for those that are listening, we are looking for a webmaster. And I like to help Christie with this project because I like to see it take off. And I like to see something like it implemented here in the area that I'm in.
You do it.
A website.
Start your chapter.
And you're going to have someone contacting you tomorrow, and that person's listening now. And others that may want to help out can contact to help create a website so we can start sharing our skills and our abilities and something that maybe we can make like Craigslist. I mentioned collective manifestation, visualization at the beginning of the program, and Bob, who helped me get to Chicago, we were talking about him earlier. He's been listening, and he told me that he says, Alex, as you know, the Bilderbergers are meeting in England this weekend. Some groups we would not typically work with are calling for a worldwide day of prayer against the global elites tomorrow. So I want people to look into this, Google this stuff tonight on the internet, see what type of literature is out there on some of the websites. But you may want to add your mind to this as you visualize like the hero did in the movie Dark City. Christie, did you see Dark City?
I have not. I'm sorry.
Well, it's an excellent movie, and it's an excellent metaphor for the human resistance against the machines in kind of a Matrix kind of a fashion. And
I'm writing it down right now. Dark
it's on
City.
YouTube for free. Yeah,
okay.
And he uses the power of his mind to take down the archonic machines.
So it's a true story.
Well, it's like a fairy tale. It's like mythology. But yeah, it is like a true story.
It's a true story.
And so we'll talk more about that later because, the whole topic of collective manifestation does have power. And so it looks like with a bunch of minds together, perhaps the millions, we'll see what good can be done. And with that, we'll be back. Last segment up after this, 218-339-8525 for any last-minute thoughts or intellectual or spiritual contributions to the broadcast.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American.
It's practically narcotics.
Freedom.
Oh, yes, I like very much.
Radio.
You're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
And welcome back to Outside the Box Radio, which is basically in its 9th year. Started the show in 2004 on Access Television and left that in 2011 and did some traveling and brought the online show back in late 2012. So I'm glad to have Christie on. I want to have more powerful female speakers on the program. For those listening, please email me some of the speakers that you enjoy, that you think would have a positive contribution to a show like this and a network like this. Also, the people that run this network are always looking for new talent to join the network. So if you're thinking about starting a radio show, if you have something to say, believe me, there are people that are interested in hearing what you have to say, people that come to websites like this. Finally, I'm trying to get my own plot of land, and I'm trying to raise some funds, some donations, some contributions, some investments in the future of Outside the Box TV. So for those listening, I haven't talked a lot about it, but I have a goal to bring back a produced version of my TV show, and I want to do it right out here in the desert. And I want to syndicate it on Access TV on stations that still exist. Thank God they do. That still exist all throughout the nation. Because, Christie, you know this, on Access TV, we can reach people that never get on the Internet. Yeah. And that's what's very special about bringing truth and knowledge to that medium. So I don't plug this very much for those that do want to donate or help. I can probably build a shack for less than $1,000, but I'll be on my own acre, and I won't have to deal with any stalkers anymore.
Hey, stalkers be gone.
What do you feel is the best way to deal with negative energy, Christie? We talked a little bit about it during the break, when people sometimes attack the light because it blinds them. What do you think is the best way to resolve that type of situation?
Well, okay, sometimes they, just what you said, that they attack the light because it blinds them. Some of those situations are, it's people that were just like us, kind of waking up, or maybe not entirely. They were programmed, and they really just, maybe it was the first time they ever heard that there's 100 cures for cancer, for example. So, I do believe that some of the people that attack, us might actually have questions and might really want to learn more. So before you just, get, oh, well, you're a psychopath, you're a stalker, you're whatever, and dismiss them, kind of decipher, is this somebody reaching out because maybe I triggered them or something in them, and they're here, really wanting to learn? Other times, however, and I'm just talking about the two extremes. The other extreme on the other end would be people that I believe get paid to harass people, whether it's online or in person. They get paid to slander people. They get paid to literally be on the Internet all day, stalking people, slandering people, blogging, commenting, etc. But I think as we come into ourselves more, we can feel that energy first. Now, is this somebody with an open heart who really is just, crying out for help? Or is this somebody that, just leave them be, ignore them, walk away, and just, kind of pretend they don't exist? So, and I'm sure there's variations in between all of those. So the ones that are just doing it, either, maybe they have an ego issue, and they believe that they can make themselves look bigger, or badder or whatever, more intelligent by putting you down, putting us down, then, don't waste your time with them, really, because it takes two to tango, and they feed off of that energy. So we don't have to share our energy with anyone we don't want to. But, again, I have seen some really, really sincere people that initially they'll, come attack the show. Like, how dare you say that? Like one time, Tobias said, Jesus is Hitler. And, we went right to break. Right after he said that. So no explanation, no anything. And man, we got attacked. People were mad. Some people left the show and, never, I'm never listening to you again. But then there were a few that actually listened or that came back to listen to see what he had to say. And it's like, wow, I never thought of it that way, and I am so sorry for attacking you like that. I didn't mean it. I was just angry. I was having a bad day. I've had people, make fun of my laugh a lot. They'll go on YouTube and, how dare her laugh like that all the time? It must sound, or she must be ingenuine, or that has to be fake, or, and I can feel the difference. Is it somebody doing it because that's what they do to serve their ego? Or is it somebody maybe that's having a bad day? And I've actually put this to the test a few times. I just kind of felt, this person just doesn't seem very happy, and maybe that's why they believe other people can't be genuinely happy, right? So I would say something like, I'm so sorry, I wish I could give you a big hug right now. And then everything turned around, and now they listen to the show and watch the videos and, provide a lot of input. So, just because people are jerks, come on, we're all jerks at some point in our life, maybe multiple points in our lives. We are human. We make mistakes. So, I don't know. I like to just kind of address it with an open heart, each individual circumstance. But the ones that, you're not going to change anyone. If it turns into this ego battle, well, I'm right. No, well, I'm right. Well, I'm righter. No, I'm righter. Then I'm the rightest. That's just, I personally don't have time for that, but I do know it's really easy to kind of get caught up in that, triggering each other and the tit for tat. And hey, if you want to do it because it's fun one night, go for it. But, just be mindful of where you're putting your energy. Are you doing it because, are you choosing to engage with, I guess what you would call an internet troll because you're having fun and maybe even letting off some steam yourself? Cool, go for it. It's probably healthy. But I don't feel that you need to respond to all of them or any of them.
It's a very important point that sometimes people enter our lives because of unresolved karma, or if we don't want to get that metaphysical, there are teachers to remind us, in this circumstance, remind myself, to have patience with those that are on a different, we'll just say different, we don't have to say lower, we don't have to say higher, but a different level of consciousness and understanding.
Yeah.
Now, on that point, I really appreciate hearing on one of your radio shows, and perhaps I'll listen to one tonight going to sleep, because I'm going to get caught up on some of your stuff, especially your interviews with Toby and Lars. But, there's a lot of very good person. What's his website, by the way?
Tobias, his website is soulcounseling.com, or you can go to courseofawakening.com. He does little seminars, super cheap, super affordable. You can even do it online with him on Skype for $10. He's definitely not like one of those, hey, $1,500 for the day, and I'm going to give you the secrets to the universe. He is a regular person, just happens to be super gifted and extremely insightful. So anyways, Course of Awakening, he does other things as well. But, Tobias Lars, he's Thursday nights.
And I heard on one of your shows, you're talking about this New Age mentality. Not to attack people that may identify with New Age, but an aspect of New Age thought that can be very judgmental. Ooh, I'm so enlightened. I'm so ascended. And I have railed and ranted and experienced it in ways that I will not share on the radio, that have hit more close to home than what most people think. And I've had to also forgive them. Christie, for the resentment, anger, for that attitude that we sometimes get from people that don't want to look at the reality that sometimes there really is rape in the world. Sometimes there really is, Darth Vader's running around convincing men and women to worship them to kill others that are brown, around the world. We have Darth Vaders still running around. But I'm trying to accept where they're at. Some people are at a different level of being able to face the truth as it is, which ultimately is a Buddhist concept, to see truth as it is. And with that, I'm going to give you the last 2 minutes because I think we're almost out of time.
Oh, wow. Well, Alex, I just want to thank you. It's been really fun being here with you tonight and congratulate you for 9 years doing the Access TV, your videos and your shows. And I'm really glad that you're here at American Freedom Radio. So, thank you for having me. I love what you're doing. And by the way, you said in reference to Project Love Your Neighbor, you wish somebody out there would start it. And I'm just, hey, Alex, why don't you? You can be the chapter leader or whatever. Like I said, there's no leader, there's no master, there's no ruler, there's no, you have to belong to a club or fill out an application or anything. But you can organize, a Colorado chapter of it and start.
You're not going to sue me if I just take your idea. You're not going to sue me if I take your idea? I love it. Okay.
Well, that's the good thing about being an anarchist. You can pretty much do anything to me and I won't sue you.
Awesome.
But like I said, it's not about me. It's just an idea, and I just want to plant seeds to help people, be part of the solution now. I would love for everybody to be happy and healthy and living in the moment and doing what serves them, what serves their heart, and I just think that planting these seeds can help us get a little bit closer to that. So.
Well, tell us in the last minute or so what people might find on your website and how they can support you.
Oh, sure. Okay, mytrueessence.net is my holistic health coaching. There's some blogs and videos about natural healing. I make natural, organic, handmade, to-order skincare and beauty products, things that have cured people of gangrene, heart disease, cancer, AIDS, scabies, candida, all sorts of poison ivy, burns, etc. So I definitely dabble in a lot of metaphysics and natural health and solution-based response to what we're dealing with today. So mytrueessence.net is that site, and then souljourneysradio.com is where you can find me here sharing the air with Alex.
And thank you to the person that has offered to help jumpstart this website.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
You're listening to the future of talk. American Freedom Radio. This is American Freedom Radio.